Hello guys, welcome to another video. This is going to be talking about my cell game. So, the map will be gigantic and it won't be an even circle. You can fit about 2 million cells in there. There's a reason why I made it like that. It's because if you want to create a smart creature that walks, it can't just float in the air. It has to walk on the edges of uh the bottom of the map. But like I said, it won't be a perfect circle, which means, or should I just make it a very absurd big box? You know what? I'm gonna make it a circle. Yeah, a circle. So light will, you can change the direction of where light comes from, but it will always start at the top of the circle. That's how that's always going to go. You can create smart creatures very easily because you can just drag and drop cells and then attach them together. So if you wanted to create a perfect human, you very well can. You can create a heart, lungs, stomach, digestive system, eyes, because yes, you can make creatures visibly see their surroundings in this game, and you can make them quote unquote talk. But I think making the vocal cords is the hardest thing to do. And I'll make a Discord. Whatever cell that I missed inside of my game, you guys can just remind me in the Discord. So there'll also be another game. It's gonna be a parkour fighting game. And no, it's not gonna be those bad stickman games where you just stand and do nothing and fight by clicking the right and left side. I'm talking about you can fully control your character. It will be 2D. You can fully control your character. There is going to be gore. Uh, what else? What else? And there will be weapons. A whole array of weapons. I think. Oh my god, I don't know who you are. Stop calling me. Uh, yeah. I think I'm going to be releasing my non Roblox games before my Roblox games. Because Roblox scripting, like I said in multiple other videos, is hot garbage. Hot garbage. Because I tried to script about 10 times. And each time, I re-looked at what I did 4 times. And it still didn't work. So, yeah. You'll be seeing my games on more App Store. You'll see my first games on the App Store. God. You won't be really seeing any other game for a while before I can actually get Roblox scripting in a comfortable area. More on the parkour game because the cell game is really easy to explain. And when the game comes out, it will literally have information on every cell and what it's best made for. Oh, sorry. You can also merge cells. You can also do that. And there's going to be a cutting tool where you can cut cells any way, shape, and form and then merge them with other cells or just keep them like that. keep them cut. You won't be forced to cut them in half. You won't be forced to cut them in a square. You can literally cut the cell any way you want. So, that's going to be interesting to see. Because you can create, at that point, you can create plant-animal hybrids. That's what I most want to see. Plant-animal hybrids. But, yeah. The game's going to be interesting. There will be other cells that there will be plants, so you will be able to make trees and all that. But if you create a smart creature, they don't just stay to one thing that you program them to. Their brains will evolve into more and more complex things, like creating fire or chopping down trees to create houses. So, if you create a smart creature, they'll slowly become more devastating to the ecosystem if they start actually figuring out how to create weapons and all of that. So that's an entire warning by itself. Create a smart creature at risk of destroying everything. Something else. What else should there be in the game? Oh yeah, radiation mutation. Radiation mutation. That's going to be really, really devastating. I'm talking about what should I do? If you create a human perfectly, that is, if they get radiation mutation, all I can say is don't let it reproduce. Because it could give that person a type of cancer, but it can also lead to a different type of human if you let it reproduce. So that's a. Let's hope this garbage screen recorder app didn't split the video in half because I just paused it to close the door. So now I can actually speak without thinking I'm going to get interrupted somehow. Oh, this is the only guy left. Wage war. Okay, so cells, you can split, you can do all that. Another, this is entirely what the video is gonna be like. Another thing, um, if you can create a sickness per se, but it won't act like Cell Lab's virus. You can create bacteria that will go around leeching off of others. You can do that. My favorite part is you can create real life viruses very easily. You can have multiple cells that can be. You can have a bacteria that can copy itself from multiple cells. Same with viruses. You can make viruses give off certain cells that will simulate sicknesses. Like, you can create the flu, and you can make the flu split into two things once it gets into contact on what it needs to split with. Let's say blood. It will create let's say oxygen and more of the flu virus mixed with that oxygen. Oxygen will be very, very, very small cells. You can barely see them, but they will be there all around the container. But they won't count as cells. That's it's something good. They won't count as cells, but they will be very small cells that you can see, physically touch, and all that. And you can make, and that will simulate a person sneezing. There will be liquids in the game that could rather look like literal, real life water, or they could be very liquidoid cells. So I hope that I can make it look as watery as possible, but I feel like that's gonna be hard to do. Something cool, something else. Uh, you can also, I believe I can make it for, what should I make it for? Uh, Basically, that's all of the real life things I can really think about right now. You can create living houses, you can create metal, you can create a lot of things just with cells. I think my favorite thing that's going to be created is monsters because now with all the things that you can do, create bones and all of that, and create actual limbs because I if the video didn't split already because of this garbage screen recorder app, I said cells will actually be ripped apart and stabbed. They won't just slowly disappear like in Cell Lab. They will actually be damaged like in real life. They will actually be damaged. They're not just gonna be like, well, see ya, peace. They won't be like that. And then you can make you can make animals, let's say, eat other animals. If you give animals bones, the bones will produce blood, and I'm gonna figure out whatever produces white blood cells, and I'm gonna figure that out later. But yeah, so you can make animals be able to eat certain other animals, but you need to create a bloody stomach. Yeah, you can't. All the cells will be fed, but you need to give. If you want your animal to be able to eat and survive more, you need to give it organs to give the body energy. Have you ever thought of that one before? If you don't give an animal organs, they won't work as well to per se. They will work as they were going to, but they're not going to be able to do it more efficiently. They're going to be like, let's say you create a human without a heart. They could survive without it, but the thing is, they won't work as efficiently without it. Because if you give a human a heart, it will pump blood to the rest of the body. If you don't give a human a heart, the blood will just be going in any random direction, which means it will be harder to do what it was going to do. Oh, shucks. So, let's say crap, crap, crap. What I'm going to make it for you can do all of that and more. Upgrade, upgrade. So, what else should I make it for? What else? You can make reproduction organs, and it sounds exactly how it is. But that's going to be really hard to do, so I just advise you to put reproduction cells around the entire body or around one side of the body because then it has a higher chance of reproducing, and plus that'll also count as protection for it'll also count as a second skin if you put it over the skin, that is. Let's say yeah, that's basically all about the cell game. Time to talk about the parkour fighting game. Like I said before, it sounds exactly how it is. No catches, all free play. It's free to play. You can turn on and you can turn ads off and on. It's all free. You can donate and all. But if you're under the age of 13, I don't advise you to play it because you first go to settings if you're under the age of 13. Go to settings immediately and turn off gore. Because when I say there's gore, I mean you can chop people in half, hearts, brains, and all. You can tear all of that out. I mean, it is going to be a parkour fighting game where you can fight with your fist, and that's the most entertaining part. Fighting with bare hands versus a guy that's shooting you. But all I can say is, uh, you, there is an endless mode. You can jump on top of buildings. You can jump inside of buildings. And right now, there's gonna be 3 basic areas. The street where the most dangerous things is cars that you're gonna have to jump over in order to not get hit by them. Buildings, the most dangerous part is enemies picking up things from the building and then throwing them at you, temporarily stunning you. Uh, what else? Business. Business offices have elevators, and the elevators will allow. How dare you? The elevators will allow you to go down or up an extra floor, which means you might be running towards a elevator, but enemies that spawned on the ground or on a lower floor or inside of another office can rather jump through a window, run up the stairs because there is stairs, or turn up or go up in the elevator. And in endless mode, that's all there. That's all there, bro. So you'll be in endless mode. Once we get more and more maps, you're gonna see more and more buildings, and which means harder to fight areas. That's basically all there is to talk about the parkour fighting game. It's gonna be really, if you like blood, it's gonna be really addicting to play because there's a lot of ways to kill the enemies or knock them out. let's say you chose the houses map. You'll be able to jump from house to house. I'm talking about kind of New York apartment type of house, like really tall, but there will be gigantic windows which you have to jump through or break to get to the other houses. And that's going to be the dangerous part because enemies can kick, punch, stab, shoot, all of that. All of that will slightly stun you. Slightly. So that means if you're going to jump from a building and an enemy kicks you, that will turn you into a ragdoll mode. And you're gonna fall all the way down and break your neck on the floor. uh, there will be bosses in this mode too. But I feel like that's gonna be the funnest part because then you're 1v1ing. Okay, the enemies know parkour too, but you're 1v1ing a guy who has a weapon who's great at parkour and countering. Which means you're screwed. If you make any wrong move, you're screwed. So, let's say you want to, I don't know, uh, let's say you want to go on endless mode and you spawn on the street, you're gonna have to, there's a chance that you can run up into a building while the boss is following you. Because you can run away from the boss, but if you run away from the boss, a lot more enemies are gonna spawn because after a certain amount of time, enemies are gonna start spawning again, and then you're gonna be in a situation where you're basically an overpowered main character who's being overrun by a lot of non-overpowered enemies and an overpowered enemy. So you can jump on the enemy's heads and get away that way. You can just shoot them all, which is the easiest way to do that. You can just start anime style sword fighting them all, doing backflips and all like I said, you're in a pirates movie or an anime. You can do that as well. You can do way too much stuff, and that's the fun of it. Because at any time, an enemy can spawn in front of you and then just straight up disrespect you by kicking you while you're jumping. And then you'll be at risk of getting your head stomped on. It's a small risk, but a risk all the same. So that's the video. We're after this video, I'm just gonna continue on playing this game, and we're gonna do a just gameplay thing, talking a little bit more about the cell game, but mostly we're gonna be focusing on this. See you guys later. Bye.